defend our objective.
Battlefield 1 in 2023. The game's been out for over 6 years, which is one of those realizations that actually makes me feel a tad bit old. Regardless, we're revisiting it for a series I used to do. What are my best guns in the game right now? It's my opinion piece for entertainment with a few facts and tips thrown in, so be sure to leave your list of best guns in the comments so we can compare and contrast. That's it, short intro, let's get right into the assault class. You can of course like and subscribe to show me you like short intros to videos, thank you. So for assault I've chosen the Hellriegel Defensive, the rarely seen, often unloved brother of the fan favourite Hellriegel Factory, otherwise known as the boring Hellriegel. And I have mine in luminous gold. Wanna know how you get that skin? You don't. It's an Xbox glitch apparent on some maps on BF1 which was never fixed. So the Hellriegel Defensive, from a basic standpoint, is the normal factory variant if you reduce the ease of use, double the magazine size, and strap on a bipod. So you've got more recoil, but twice as much potential to spray down enemies without a reload, and the option to lay down the bipod on a flat surface for longer range beaming. All in all, it's a trade-off I really enjoy. It's infinitely more entertaining for me to use that than the factory variant, as it requires me to actually, do something, but also more heavily rewards me when it comes to versatile play if I can make up for the less user-friendly recoil, which thankfully I can at least most of the time. So whereas the Hellriegel Factory is a bit of a brainless option, it's not exactly the best at anything, but it's so easy to use that it allows the player to kind of do the basics of combat without much effort. The defensive asks for more from the player, whilst providing a higher potential payoff, and I like that, and some of you will too. So dust off your Hellriegel Defensive sometime, or go and unlock it if you never got round to it. You might end up liking it, or at least it's a new experience. Medic class is up, and it's sort of a rerun of my assault class pick. You take one of the most popular options available and then select a different variant of it that people don't really use anywhere near as much. I love the Fedorov Optical. I use it a huge amount, as my stream viewers will be 100% aware of. You can be a stream viewer too, by the way, for the low price of one subscribe button click below. Thank you very much in advance. But why the optical variant get good? Well, don't get me wrong, I like the trench variant, it's awesome too. But the optical just fits how I like to play and what I feel like the game requires from the player more often than not. I'll explain this fairly basically again because the full comparison is kinda long-winded, but the optical variant gives you less hipfire ability and overall close range effectiveness in order to provide you with more reliable long range and aim down sight focused play, along with, just a dot sight which increases precision. Because the range you have to fight people at in Battlefield is often fairly far out, if you aren't going to just specifically limit yourself to short range areas. So then you might say, well then why not use a different gun entirely? The answer is because I don't have to. If you get used to how the Fedorov actually works, it's a machine at mid to long range, as well as at close range. And no, I actually don't feel like I'm all that held back at close range when using the optical variant anyway, it's still just a beast. But for mid to long range, learn how to tap the trigger and maintain your aim and you'll beam people in ways you won't have expected. And indeed the enemy won't expect it either, it's really nasty. Support now, otherwise known as the class that I tend to ignore. It's just generally not that great for how I play. Support doesn't really scream movement, versatility and offense to be honest, which is fitting considering it's called support, that's by the by. But there is a weapon I don't mind using, mainly because it doesn't play like it's in the support class. Kind of like the BAR, the Burton, stuff like that. Well mine is the LMG 08/18. Some people will tell you it's the IMG 08/18. I don't know, I used to call it that. I also don't really care anymore. Unless you want to argue about it in the comment section and help with the algorithm placement of the video, in which case feel free. Just go nuts, just go back and forth arguing whether it's LMG or IMG for days on end, be my guest. Regardless, the LMG 08/18 is a fast-firing LMG with a solid magazine size of 100. I like the low weight variant for obvious reasons. And essentially, I feel like it's an LMG that just lets me do whatever I want. It's got a good time to kill at close range, can be lethal lethal at mid-range, can still be used at long range if you're capable. You can run around with it, as well as play a little bit passively if you want, if you still want to just lie around, but otherwise why not just use another gun. Anyway, it's just more manageable and less ridiculous than the Parabellum, like a nice in-between, solid middle ground. So I guess what I'm saying to you is, if you don't like the support class, then you might like the LMG08. If you like running around and spraying people down, then you might like the LMG08. If you're like me, you might like the LMG08. If you prefer to play support like an actual support player and be more passive, then you might not like the LMG08. I hope that helps. And we come to the Scout class. My choice is a consistent favorite of mine, it's the Lebel. I've got Lebel sniper gameplay for you here, but if I want to use an infantry variant, I still pick the Lebel, just a Lebel infantry. The Lebel for me is home. It's a comfort blanket. It's sitting in the sun with my cat. It's waking up with the rain against the window and nowhere to go that day. That's not statistically helpful or significant, but it conveys my feelings perfectly. So full disclosure, I actually way prefer infantry scout play. I almost never ever snipe anymore, but I've been on a slight return to it recently. But one thing that remains consistent regardless of which variant I use, the sidearm is extremely important, as is clear in a lot of the footage. If you want to actually be aggressive, you're going to need your sidearm. Also, you sometimes just need the enemy to be absolute derps, but you can only beat what's put in front of you. But GGG, that doesn't explain why other people don't use the Lebel. True. So my hypothesis is that it could be something to do with the reload. The reload is long, irritating, and just disrupts your flow a lot, which is a total non-factor if you learn to reload cancel. For me, at least on console, that involves double tapping Y or triangle on PlayStation or whatever it is on PC. I'll wait for the rounds to be added and then I double tap Y. This cancels the animation and instantly brings back out the Lebel ready for use. You can also do that just midway through the whole reload process if you need a bullet suddenly and don't wish to have even more shoved into the gun. Boom, the Lebel just got a whole lot better. Now keep in mind, dear viewer, if you're enjoying this video, there are some very basic ways to communicate that to me, along with some benefits. Here we go. You can subscribe, which nets you at least 5 live streams a week right here on YouTube, along with a 10% coolness buff for life and a spot in the friendliest Battlefield community on YouTube. You can hit the like button and leave me a comment to get involved in the discussion of this topic. Plus, you can follow any of the links in the description, so Discord for pings every time I go live or post a video, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for bonus content and behind the scenes interactions. Plus, there's the extra mile of Patreon, channel membership, and super thanks. Any support is obviously dearly appreciated, but not specifically expected from any individual. Your choice. Now, here's some bonus stuff for your eyes, the rest of that sentry streak from the beginning of the video, followed by a link to my video explaining why I left content creation for over a year. Please do watch it if you're curious. Help it out with the algorithm, it's struggling. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you soon.